Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host, Sree Iyer. I'm here today with a very distinguished guest, Sree Mohandas TG of VHS Kerala. Mohandas ji is the president of Virat Hindustan Sangam Kerala. Mohandas ji, welcome to P Guru's channel.
Thank you and welcome everybody.
So let's start by welcoming our viewers. Viewers, you should be able to watch the video on YouTube. I did figure it out. YouTube is available for those of us. There are 7 people watching right now. Hello, viewers. Let's start by welcoming our viewers. Yeah, I turned it off. Apu just told me that there was an echo. I just turned it off. Thank you, Apu. Hopefully now it's muted. The second channel won't say anything. Please confirm if echo is okay. There are 11 people watching now, so we are building up audience here. Mohandas ji, when we did our trial run, we have just spoken briefly about the Love Jihad as a concept, as a phenomenon, as to how it has taken root especially in Kerala and probably in the rest of the country as well. So maybe for our viewers' sake, could you recap what has been happening in Love Jihad for the past so many years?
Yeah, see, as everybody understands, jihad is a holy war to be fought against infidels, that is non-Muslims. That is the original idea, original mandate given by Quran to every Muslim. At least that is what they believe. And it is very clearly written in Quran also. Till 20th century, it was only either killing or converting by force. Now, from 20th century, when the technology started developing, they have shifted gears and jihad spread to other areas also. Number one is financial jihad, in which our Islamic banking system falls. Number two is love jihad, in which they trap non-Muslim girls and then convert them and marry them, use them sexually, sell them in a flesh market, use them as terrorists, human bombs, all these activities. Now, this is what is generally being called as love jihad. Now, Kerala is a hub of or haven for terrorists. That is why you don't see any bomb explosions or Islamic outside activity in Kerala, because it is a safe haven which they don't want to destroy. Once they started bomb explosions, etc., then police, security forces, everybody will concentrate in Kerala. So Kerala is a safe haven for them. They export terrorism from here. You remember few Keralites were there when our army fired in Kashmir border. It was a shock to everybody that around 14 people were there, Malayalis were there in Kashmir border. All these were recruited from Kerala. So boys are also recruited, girls are also recruited. When girls are being trapped through love, it is called love jihad. That is what is evident in Kerala now.
So is this phenomenon coercive? That is, are the girls being forced to do it, or is there some willingness on their part to get attracted to maybe something that is new for them?
Nothing like that. See, they will identify soft targets first. And this girl's friends will keep a very good contact with the girl, giving her presents, inviting her to their residence, and offering so many things. And slowly, the boy will appear from nowhere. And he will pretend that he loves this girl. By the time girl becomes so vulnerable, there will be a lot of WhatsApp messages, telephone calls, emails, everything. So the girl feels somewhat compelled to love the boy. And she started behaving in a manner in which they have designed. And finally, they will announce slowly from mouth to mouth publicity. They will say that this girl is in love with that boy. And now, generally, non-Muslim or say, Hindu girls, they are so shy and so afraid of the stigma, they will meekly surrender. And then she will be taken away. That there will be some sort of kidnapping. The moment she is kidnapped, she will be sexually used And therefore, she will decide that now I cannot go back to my parents, or my society will not accept me. So let me succumb to this destiny, and let me go with that boy. So even if you take the girl to police station or court, she will just like parrot like, she will repeat that, no, this is my husband, I want to go with him. This is my husband, I want to go with him. Because she has become so helpless. She will be speaking in a trance. That is what is happening now.
So the key contact, it seems, is the friend that usually is used to draw this girl towards, let's say, what happens later. So is this person, the friend, are they Islamic or are they even others? Because if they are Islamic, there's one way to spot that. But if they are not Islamic, but they are also, other Hindu girls or something like that, it becomes a little bit more complicated. So what are your impressions about that?
No, it is very clear that they are Muslim girls. Muslim girls are specially trained for this. They know how to speak about Islam in a sweet voice. They will not give the total Quran in a Hindu girl's hand, because if she reads the Quran, then the whole balloon will burst. The violence in Quran will detract everybody. Nobody will accept that. So what do they do is, they will take sweet sentences from Quran and tell this girl that this is Quran. See, world is one, so there has to be one God. Why do you have several gods, etc., etc.? And that psychological onslaught will continue. Now, whatever cases came to Kerala High Court, in every case, each and every case, it starts with the Muslim friends of this girl, slowly guiding her, just like trained elephants guiding a small elephant into a trap. That is what has happened. That is how Kerala High Court became highly irritated over this process. And they annulled even the marriage and sent the girl back to the parents forcibly.
Yeah, so let me refer to that. So there we are going to discuss two different cases at some length today, just so we can get the understanding of the Love Jihad in its full context and how it has played out. I would like to start first with the case of Adira. What exactly was the point at which she began to question the tenets of Islam?
See, it is very difficult. Islam cannot stand the test of reasoning. When a girl is going through this process, here she already went through the process, she converted herself, but then she was still being contacted by a few Hindu groups. They were silently working, not forcing or trying to reconvert her, but telling her that you have taken a wrong step, my dear, please come back. This was the way they adopted. Finally, she could realize that, oh, I made a big mistake. Let me retrace my step. And she came back. Oh, Islam tried every trick. They made her marry somebody. All sorts of nonsense were there. But this girl wriggled out of everything and she came out. Now she is safe and living with her parents. This is Adira.
So I have one follow-up question on that. I believe one of the Hindu organizations was Arsha Vidya Samajam. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
And I could be wrong about this. I read a few days back that the police has imposed some severe restrictions on Arsha Vidya Samajam, or they've even banned it. Can you please update us what happened in that context?
See, I'll tell you, Arsha Vidya Samajam is primarily a counseling center, an independent initiative by one man along with his friends. They started a counseling center for people who are astray in this area culturally and religiously. They can come here. Some yoga practice was there, some preaching was going on, some speeches were going on. And it was like a hostel also, where boys and girls were staying along with parents, not alone. So parents were also happy. These girls were happy, boys were happy. It was happily going on. But at the same time, one or two governmental sanctions were to be taken, which was not taken by this institute. That was a procedural lapse. It is nothing, an offense or anything. Some license or some intimation is to be given to authorities. That intimation didn't reach them in time, etc. So many governmental formalities, some was to be completed. This was the situation. Now, ever since this Athira came back, Islamic forces had a big setback. They lost their public support, at least they thought so. So they need to strike back, and strike back in a very strong manner. So they chose this Arsha Vidyapitham, and they brought out all these procedural problems. One or two people who were not happy with the institute earlier, they left institute, but they were not happy. They had some personal grounds also. And they offered a TV channel, this Popular Front, etc. They are running a TV channel here, Media One channel. They used the channel and they said, no, I was beaten up, I was not given food, this, that. And police has to charge a case. And then the local authorities said, you close down Arsha Vidyapitham. But how to close it? Because the girls are staying there. You cannot just ask them to go to street. So police said, authorities, that no, we cannot close it at this moment. And there is no serious allegation. Very silly allegations are there. Because it was played by media, everybody thought something serious is there. Arsha Vidyapitham, as such, even today, it is functioning. Very few people, they have, police have registered an FIR against people, and they have approached the court for anticipatory bail, etc. And the law is taking its own course. Arsha Vidyapitham is still working, but majority of the girls were taken away by her parents because of this controversy. That is the truth.
So you mentioned it was a technicality, and I'm sure the technicality can be resolved in a matter of time. So I think we should support Arsha Vidya Samajam in every way we can, and maybe we can have a follow-up conversation a few weeks later where we can again revisit this topic, and hopefully by the time they are up on their feet and running again, because this is not an isolated instance. I'm going to take us to the second case, which is that of Akhila/Hadia. Now, in that case, Mohandas ji, it looks as if the girl turned against her family, and it also appears like she is severely under the grip of a jihadist mindset. Now, my question to you before we go to Akhila's case is, how did Atira escape that?
See, Iyerji, problem is, in Indian situation, understand how the family is functioning. Once the girl, a small crack develops in the character of a girl, then that stigma is lifelong. Everybody know that. A Hindu girl, if she is attacked with some sexual rumor or something, then it is gone. It's difficult for her to find a boy. It is difficult for her to live peacefully. That is a situation which is still there in even in Kerala cities, not to speak about villages. So Adira somehow could overcome that stigma. She boldly came out. Okay, I made a mistake. I have come out. And her parents were happy to receive her. But in Akhila's case, she has not yet decided to come back. She is under the psychological grip of Islam. That is what is happening.
Our salute to the parents of Adira and also to Adira for having taken this bold step. We are very proud of the parents because they accepted her back with an open mind. And, you know, Adira, your life is in front of you. Don't worry about this. There will be somebody who's broad-minded enough to see past these small things, and you should be able to lead a normal life. Sir Mohandas ji, let's go back to the case of Akhila. So where do things stand right now with Akhila?
Akhila's case is finally in Supreme Court. I think the case is posted for next Monday or so. It's a very difficult situation now because Akhila is still swearing that I am Islam, I want to go with my husband, etc. It is reported that she is still upholding her marriage, and if given a chance, he will depose before the Supreme Court. But what Supreme Court says that, okay, we will listen to the girl also before we give our final judgment. But let us see what is behind this marriage. Because Akhila's marriage was a surprising marriage. That is why Kerala High Court interfered with that marriage. You know, a habeas corpus writ is running in Kerala High Court. Her father says that my daughter is being cajoled by terrorists. She is going to be taken to Syria. Then the court issues notices to all interested parties, and when the case is going on, in between, court says that let Akhila go to a common girls' hostel in Kochi, stay there till we say what to do. And during that stay, Akhila marries one gentleman called Shefin Jahan. He is based in Dubai. And that man comes to the court and files an affidavit saying that now this Akhila is Hadia, she is my wife. We are married. Then court was surprised. Court said, what is happening? She is under our custody. We have sent her to that hostel. How can you marry her in between without our permission or knowledge? Then they said, no, there is a nikah.com website. Akhila went to the website, and Shefin Jahan also was there in the website. Through mouse click, they agreed each other. Next day, Shefin Jahan flew from Gulf to Kerala, and marriage was performed in some other place. So they claim that this is not love, this is an arranged marriage. Court was fuming. Court said, how can it be? What arrangement? What arranged marriage? Where are your parents? Only Shefin Jahan's parents were there. Akhila's parents were not there. If it is an arranged marriage, then both parties have to agree and then perform the marriage. That is arranged marriage. If it is love marriage, then you yourself say that no, we never knew each other. They have only 24 hours acquaintance between. So the court said that this is a sham marriage. This is fabricated to circumvent our orders. Therefore, we are annulling this marriage and sending this girl. They spoke to the girl also. And the High Court recorded that. It is a division bench. Two judges spoke to this girl. They said the girl is infirm. She is not cohesive. She is speaking as if she is in a trance. She is just repeating words like a tape recorder. So we cannot say that this girl is in her proper senses. So she must go to her parents first. And let us start from square number one. They issued an order for a fresh inquiry into the whole thing. And now this fellow, this Shefin Jahan, has gone to appeal to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court ordered NIA inquiry. Now again he is in Supreme Court saying that NIA inquiry is not required. All this is bogus. Cancel everything. Give me my wife back. This is the situation now.
It seems to me that the whole thing was very carefully planned and stage managed. I wouldn't say stage managed, but it was carefully planned to try and get around some of the strictures passed by the High Court. Now, have they met each other before? Was there any? I mean, you can't just like that go to nikah.com and randomly pick one guy and say, I'm going to get married to this person. Was there a history is what I would like to know.
No, absolutely no. Akhila never knew who was Shefin Jahan. It was all arranged by Popular Front. That is why court got irritated this much. Because Shefin Jahan himself has got a criminal record in Kerala. There are several FIR, first information report, and offenses pending against, cases are pending against this man. And probably that is why he flew to some Gulf country and living there peacefully. Now he came back. He must be an operator. He must be an accomplice of these forces. That is what court felt. That is why inquiry was ordered. Number two, this Akhila submitted in court that her income is 7,000 rupees. She is a homeopathic doctor, she claims. 7,000 rupees, just 7,000 rupees per month. Now the advocates who are appearing for Akhila are highly paid advocates. Per appearance, they charge you lakhs of rupees. Then who is financing this case? These are all recorded by unprecedented recording by Kerala High Court. Generally, a court doesn't go to the advocate and his fees, etc. But Kerala High Court boldly recorded that something is fishy because this girl is not capable of bringing this type of advocates to this court. From where she is getting this money? That is a question that also is to be inquired, because top class #1 lawyers from Supreme Court are appearing Kerala High Court. In Supreme Court also, now also you see Dushan Dave, one of the highest paid lawyer in Supreme Court, is appearing for Akhila or Shefin Jahan. Who is paying for this? So somebody is playing behind that, and possibly after the Kerala High Court judgment, there was a big march towards Kerala High Court. in which it was in the name of somebody else, but it was Popular Front which arranged that around 5,000 strong march. They said that we are capable of intruding into the bedroom of the judge and we know how to deal with this type of judges. Naming the judges, shaming the judges. This is the situation in Kerala. And now in the Supreme Court, they say that, oh no, we are all innocent, Islam is a peaceful religion, etc., etc. And they are trying to win the case. Let us see what is happening in Supreme Court.
But as a matter of record, the Supreme Court should have taken cognizance of what you just mentioned about all these people demonstrating in front of the the Kerala High Court, protesting against the judgment. And it would, if I were an impartial observer, I would say this sort of thing would go against the boy, because you say, at the end of the day, the court judgment is final. You cannot say just because the judgment didn't come in the way you expected it, that you will go and start threatening them. I'm not saying they threaten them, but their verbal abuse is one way of indirectly saying that, you shouldn't have ruled this way, but you should have ruled this way. And I hope that, Supreme Court take cognizance of that. Mohandas ji, I have one small question. Just bear with me for 1 second while I pull up the next question here. Viewers, there are many of you watching this program. If you have any questions for Mohandas ji, please feel free to type that in the chat window, and I will try and accommodate as many as possible. Mohandas ji, you'll be pleased to know I have a gentleman here who says that he is well settled. He would like to meet and possibly marry Adira. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that thing offline and I will connect you two, and I don't know what form and shape it will take, but at least it is very heartening to know that somebody who has just heard this conversation has offered to meet and possibly take this relationship forward. Again, it's a very good thing that I think whatever we are doing here today, it is having some impact. So viewers, please send in your questions and I will try and accommodate as many as possible. Now, the next question for you, Mohandas ji, is now Adira has recently said that she's going to actively work in educating her sisters about the deep foundations of Sanatan Dharma. Does the Sangh Parivar / Hindu Helper / Ashravedya Samajam have an active role to play in this, or is it something that is her own initiative? I mean, I think what I'm trying to ask you is, as a Hindu parent, isn't it also our responsibility to spend some time with our children to explain to them our culture, our heritage, and so on? Hello? Can you hear me? We seem to have temporarily lost Mohandas ji. Just one moment, please. I'm going to try and reconnect with him.
Yes.
Okay. So, please go ahead. Did you get my question, sir?
No, I could not get your question.
Okay. So the question was, let me reread that back to you. Adira has recently said that she's going to actively work in educating her sisters about the deep foundations of Sanatana Dharma. Now, this is a question for not just her, but I think as a parent, as a Hindu parent, we all need to spend some time with our children, educating our children about our culture and the reason for doing all these different pujas and festivals. Do you know if there is an initiative by either Ashavaidya Samajam or Hindu Helpline or Sangh Parivar to try and start this education process at a very fundamental level?
See, Iyerji, there is, as such, there is no serious attempt. But, traditionally, it is not our practice to teach Hinduism inside our house. Hinduism is going inside our bones and marrow through our acharas, our way of life. And probably that is why everybody says that Hinduism is a way of life. Which book you are going to teach people? It's very difficult. It is a historical question. Towards the end of Mahabharata war, Dharmaputra is asking Bhishma, what should I read? Which god I should believe? Whom to worship? What to do? I am utterly confused. So before you go to your heavenly abode, please enlighten me. This was the question by Dharmaputra some 10,000 years back. Then Bhishma told him, see, it is impossible to point out one book or one god. So you do one thing. You just chant Vishnu Sahasranama. Even that is difficult. For an ordinary man to chant Vishnu Sahasranama, it is difficult. Therefore, Bhishma says, you take Ramanama. That is how throughout Bharat you see Ram Nam such hai. Everywhere, every village, you go to any place, Ram, you take the name of Ram, that is Hindutva. So for ordinary people, you cannot teach them Rig Veda, Upanishad. Oh, big scholars even fail to understand what is written in that. And you are going to teach everything to a society in a capsule. It is impossible. So our ancestors have thought about that, and they have devised all these acharas. Whatever we perform inside our house, by evening there is a prayer, or morning there is a prayer, there is a fast, going to temple, there is a festival, that is for 8 days. Everything is there. These are the roots which are holding you to Hindutva. Now what is happening is an aberration. In fact, this is my personal opinion, that instead of trying to teach people Rig Veda and Upanishads, you try them teaching 1/3 of Quran, show them how violent theology is Quran, then nobody will touch Islam. See, the problem is, Quran is never discussed in an open society, not even in India, even Europe also. You cannot discuss Quran, you will be killed once you discuss it. I have been, my friends I have several Muslim friends. I told them, what is this nonsense? Either you remove these lines from Quran, or you say that they are outdated, they should not be considered. Now what is happening is, everybody who is a reader of Quran understands the violence behind Quran. And unless the violence is performed, you are not a Muslim. Unless you convert somebody, unless if somebody is refusing to convert, unless you kill him, you are not a good Muslim. You will not be taken to heaven, where 72 huris are waiting for you to entertain you. So this falsehood, see, there are so many things which are unacceptable for a civil society in Hindu Puranas also, full of some dirty stories here and there. So we don't know who wrote that, but nobody follows it. It is there inside the book. Nobody follows that. So when the times change, Islam has to reform themselves. Otherwise, they will be in perpetual conflict with Hindus. And Hindus are one community where Islam has taken a beating. Even after 800 years of Mughal, all these rules, Hindus have survived, and still they are 85% in India. So it's not a job to fight with Hindus. Hindus know how to fight back. May not be by teaching Bhagavad Gita or Rig Veda, but they know how to preserve their society. This is all child's play. If you take the history of Hindutva, this is what is going on now is a child's play. So Hindus will be retorting on their own manner. It could be through Arsha Vidya Samajams here and there. It could be through sannyasis here and there. It could be through great personalities like Sree Ravi Shankar here and there. We will have a lot of spiritual personalities will sprout in Hindutva and take care of Hindutva. That is how we have countered this type of activities historically.
Thank you for that clarification. I have one, I'm going to just step back a little bit. Now, let us set this topic of Love Jihad. The original thing about a few years back, Kerala's intelligence wing actually submitted a report about this to, I think, the Women Chandi government. And I don't think it saw the light of the day under Women Chandi government. And I don't think it has seen the light of day even now under the Pinarayi Vijayan government today. Do you know what the status of that report is? Have you had a chance to look at that Love Jihad report?
No, I did not see that intelligence report. But what happened was, when Uman Jani was chief minister, he made a statement on the floor of the assembly saying that on an average, 6,000 conversions have taken place during his period of 3 or 4 years. Now, based on the intelligence report, the present state police chief, Loknath Behra, IPS, he gave an interview to New Indian Express of, the Southern Indian Express, New Indian Express. He gave an interview admitting that there is a phenomena called Love Jihad. There is a Dawa squad, a squad which will convert girls in a rapid manner. They are technologically well equipped to trap girls. All these things are going on. And he said that police is also having a secret wing to trace out these people and isolate one by one. The thing is that he said we have to conduct everything in a secret manner because the prestige, the dignity of the girl is involved. So we cannot tell everything to the whole world that we did this, we did that. It is not a question of boasting because human life and human dignity is involved. This was his interview. But then he was in trouble naturally. Everybody started blaming him. After 3 days, he made a retracted statement, which nobody signed. But that statement was floating through air. But the newspaper didn't take out their story. It is still there in their website. That means everything was recorded by the newspaper. Now, state police chief might have told them, Bhaiya, don't put me in difficulty. I am going to retract my statement. Don't put out my voice outside. These things happen in the media circle also. He is a big officer heading the police force in Kerala. So, okay, that adjustment might have taken place. Now, technically, the statement stands withdrawn, but the statement is still there in New Indian Express website. Whatever he has said is his admission about the phenomena of Love Jihad going on and taking place in Kerala.
Are there any steps being taken now to at least minimize the occurrence of this going into the future?
See, down the line, the police force know what is happening. So on a case-to-case basis, they take stringent action against the Love Jihadi. And they don't go harsh against people like who are running Arsha Vidya Samajam because all the police know that all these are frivolous complaints which are going to fail in court. But then if somebody makes a complaint, they have to register an FIR and investigate. That is what is going on. But at the top, since the CPM is in alliance with all these fringe violent Islamic groups, there is severe pressure on the police not to act against these jihadis. Instead, act against the Hindutva workers. So therefore, every worker of any consequences is having a case against him, including the smallest of Hindu workers like me. I also have a case against me. I don't know. I was called by police. I deposed before police and they wanted me to surrender my mobile phone. I even said, I'll remove my SIM card and give you my phone, do whatever you want. Then they said, no, we need SIM card also. It becomes a big nuisance. I went to High Court and got a stay order against all proceedings against TG Mohandas is hereby stayed till further order. Because it's all nonsense, bunk up. So, court, it took the court hardly 6 seconds to give me a stay order. So the case is so frivolous, but it is there against every Hindu worker, This is the design of CPM to browbeat, to beat us into submission. And that fight is going on. And CPM is desperate because Kerala is their last bastion. Somehow they have to cling on to Kerala. Otherwise, outside Kerala, you can see red flag only in railway station, nowhere else. It is sab satyanash ho gaya hai. So they are desperately clinging to Kerala. They will align with anybody and everybody. They align with Maoists, they align with Islamists, they align with jihadis. Whosoever is coming, they are ready to align. they are ready to patronize. That is what is happening.
So there is a sense of desperation on part of the ruling party, which is regrettable that leadership is not being shown by them. And essentially they are digging a grave for themselves, if not today, tomorrow. And I don't know if there is going to be an impact of the triple talaq that the Supreme Court has just weighed in and ruled on that. And, who knows, that might also have a positive impact for BJP, especially in Kerala in the next elections. I'm just musing loud here. Sir, I have a question from a viewer. Ranjit Rajan wants to know, what is the negative impact of Rahul Ishwar releasing the video footage of Akila?
See, that fool has interfered with the process of investigation. See, Akila is a de facto witness in this case. You cannot, during the course of a case, you are not supposed to interrogate a witness and take a statement from him or her and then make it public. That is what is called interference with investigation. Rahul Ishwar is not the only man. There are bigger journalists in Kerala, but nobody went to meet Akila. Everybody knew that Akila is staying in such and such place. Everybody knew where is her house. But no big journalist, no TV man tried this interview. Why? Because it is an offense. When somebody is under police protection and she is de facto witness in the case, she is waiting for giving her deposition in Supreme Court, and none other than National Investigation Agency has taken up the case, and you go sneak in between, take the parents into confidence that I want to meet Akila, best of luck, this, that, I have brought some mithais for her. And the gullible parents agree. And you quietly take their secret video and release in public. And he had the audacity to write to the retired Chief Justice Ravindran, who is supposed to monitor this case. He wrote that I have collected every evidence I will submit in court so that you can reach at a consensus. What does it? This is a clear contempt of court also. I don't know what is going to happen to that boy. If I was at the helm of affairs in police, then by this time he would have been behind bars. But since de facto he helped the Islamists, the Pinarayi Vijayan government is taking a lenient attitude towards him. Now he is in the court with seeking anticipatory bail. His bail application is going to be considered on 17th. I don't know what would be his fate now.
Now, how do you see the prospects of BJP in I guess the next elections are the Lok Sabha elections. Now, I'll just set the context by just asking a couple of data points. One is, there is, I think, one MLA seat where there was a possibility that that could go to BJP because they found a lot of voters who were not even present in India, and those votes were cast or something like that. But leave that aside. As a general trend, how do you rate BJP's prospects in Kerala in the next elections, let's say 2019 Lok Sabha?
Iyerji, just see, we have been grappling with the situation, political situation in Kerala, where the polity is bipolar. It's one side it is LDF along with some 8 or 9 partners. The other side it is UDF. They also have some 10 or 12 partners. So the whole spectrum of political party is divided into 2. And there is no space for us. We are trying to make that space. Now what happens is, if you hammer a rock, you don't know when it is going to break. It could break at the 25th stroke or 50th stroke or 101st stroke. You don't know. That is what scientifically we call threshold level. You cross the threshold level, then there is no looking back. Therefore, I will not predict the future of BJP, but it is palpable in the political atmosphere in Kerala that BJP has they have reached just below the threshold level, and at any time they will break that line and there will be no looking back. This is the situation.
That's good to know. Now, one of the challenges that has been plaguing elections, particularly in Kerala, and I think now I'm seeing this across the country now, is cross voting. That is, you have two leading parties, and they know that one of them is weak, the other one is strong in a particular constituency. They want to go to any lengths to keep the third person from coming in. This is something that is not discussed in newspapers and things like that, but the phenomenon is called cross voting. Now, do you see that as coming even more to the fore in the next elections? Because these two entrenched coalitions might still want to somehow keep the ground between themselves.
Yeah, it's a usual thing in democracy to defeat one candidate. You vote some other candidate who is not in your preference list, but still you vote him because you want to defeat the other man. This is a normal thing in democracy. We have to live with that. Now in Kerala, this has been going on for years together, especially which you have mentioned, Mr. K. Surendran, who was defeated just for 89 votes. There was also cross voting. Now the biggest joke is the Congress MLA K. Muralidharan, who defeated our state president Kumaran Rajashekaran, openly said that CPM voted for me. Yeah, he says, at the last moment, CPM voted me, and that is how I could defeat this Kumaram Rajashekaran. He was our star candidate after O. Rajagopal. Our number 2 star was Kumaran Rajashekaran. O. Rajagopal is, of course, the prime candidate at that time. So Kumaram Rajashekaran was defeated by cross voting. And we have requested them, you openly come out, you say what are all places you have done this cross voting. But they won't disclose. But it is quite evident if you go through the voting pattern, it is quite evident they do it at several places. And openly they embrace each other. Congress and communists were together in fighting by all elections. In Kerala also, it is a drama which you are seeing, a fight between Congress and communists. It's not a fight. It is they themselves call it a friendly fight. So at the critical moment, they align each other and protect their chairs. So either Congress will be ruling or communists will be ruling, the other party will be in opposition. So they have decided that we will occupy the ruling benches and opposition benches. We will not give BJP a chance. But BJP is determined to break this alliance. You go beyond that. You can walk beyond that. You can fly above that. That is what we are designing. And we are going to succeed. Already we have succeeded at one place. Next place, they succeeded by cross voting. Next time, we will see that we will garner more votes than they can manage through cross voting. This is what we plan. And it is a normal political game which everybody has to play. Everybody has to live with that.
Coming from a state which has 100% literacy, I would expect the voters to spend a little bit more time looking at their candidates and not be swayed by someone telling them, okay, in this case, even though I know you are a Congress guy, you should vote for CPM, because if you don't do that, the third guy will come and win. So I'm just a little troubled by this, because literacy is supposed to take out all these cobwebs. You're not going to be influenced by somebody telling you which way you should vote. Why do you think this is happening in Kerala?
See, literacy has nothing to do with voting. Please understand the Indian voter. He never goes by merits of every issue and every candidate. It is the hype and hoopla which you create before the elections, by which the voters are swayed. And anti-incumbency factor is one thing which every government suffers. And this literacy rate itself is a bogus thing. How do they count literacy? Anybody between the age of 6 and 55, if he knows how to count from 0 to 9, he is literate. Generally, people feel that, oh, Kerala is 100% literate, so they know everything. They don't know anything. We know how to count from 0 to 9. That is all what is meant by literacy. So don't think that literate people are educated. Education is different. Literacy is different. This is all statistical fraud perpetrated on the society. Literacy rate is one of that fraud.
So what you just mentioned about being able to count from 0 to 9 as being accepted as literacy, is this a standard or a yardstick used in just Kerala, or is it used world countrywide?
I think it is countrywide. I have not made a concentrated study, but at least in Kerala, this is true. If you are between the age of 6 and 55 or 60, I'm not sure, because they keep changing the age, etc. in between. And if you can count from 0 to 9, you are literate, declared. That is
That sounds strange to me, because you need to be able to count even to do your basic things. I mean, you have to deal with market, you have to buy things, sell things. Anybody has to do these kinds of things. And I would expect that people even know how to sign their name, not thumbprints anymore. Anyway, that's a topic for a different day and a different time. So I think we are coming to the end of our discussion. I'm looking to see if there are any other questions from our viewers. We have a fair amount of viewers. Thank you, viewers, for supporting us. It's your valuable weekend, and probably one of the best times in the weekend. And yet you've come in numbers and supported us. Mohandas ji, if you would like to summarize this discussion, and maybe we can have a parting message that, where do you feel the Supreme Court is going to go, and are there going to be um, better directions for that in cases that come up in future of this kind, that things can be disposed of at the lower courts itself?
Yeah, I don't expect the Supreme Court to reverse their previous judgment. Generally, a bench will not reverse the decision of a coordinate bench. The earlier bench has directed this NIA investigation. There is no reason why this bench should sit on an appeal and then cancel the earlier order. It is very difficult, very, very difficult. So NIA investigation will continue. Now the Islamists are celebrating because Chief Justice asked few questions. Oh, how can you keep the girl? She is 25 years old. She has her human rights, etc. These are all passing remarks made by judges while listening to various arguments. They make such statement. No, how can you annul a marriage under Article 226 of the Constitution, etc. That is only a simple question which they are asking. It's not their opinion. Now, when the opinion comes, for one, I don't find any reason for the Supreme Court to change their earlier judgment, and they will go with NIA investigation, and NIA will honor the truth behind this. By the time, I hope Akhila will open her eyes.
Thank you very much, Mohandas ji. It was a pleasure talking to you. And to all the viewers who joined us, thank you for participating in this debate. I wouldn't say debate, one-on-one conversation. I stand corrected. And we hope to have many such debates in the future. Thanks to everyone for joining us. Bye.
Thank you. Or shall I add one thing more?
Please go ahead.
That is regarding literacy. I am getting some messages here that you have to, not only you have to count from 0 to 9, you have to know at least 51 letters of Malayalam also. There may be some changes made later on, but this was how it started earlier. So I hope I have answered that question also. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hold on 1 second. I just got one last question here. And this is a good question from Apu. He wants to know, what should organizations such as Asha Vaidya Samajam do or not do to succeed in what they are trying to do?
Now, Apu, see, such things cannot be discussed in public. Arsha Vidya Samajam is being supported by various Hindu organizations now. It is no more an individual initiative. It was so previously. Now it is being supported by various organizations like RSS, Vishwa Hindu Parishad, so many other organizations. So they are going to work out a strategy of how to go forward. So that strategy cannot be openly discussed at this point of time. It's not secret, but at this point of time, the information is classified. So I cannot open it up.
I think the awareness has been created. I'm very pleased to say that. I mean, the cases of Adira and Akila has created awareness, and hopefully, the vulnerable girls also get the message that if something appears to be too good, they need to introspect, go back to their parents, ask them questions, and so on and so forth. So hopefully, that process is already in motion, and what we want is, if somebody really likes someone from a different religion, we are not against that. It's just that they need to make an informed decision, not get swayed by some sort of brainwashing or something like that.
That is true. That is true. See, nobody is against true and pure love. That happens. You see, when a boy and girl are from the same institution, it is obvious that they developed a love affair. Here it is no, the boy is absolutely a stranger. He appears from nowhere and kidnaps this girl, and then they say that we are in love affair. How can it be? This is the problem. Nevertheless, I will request all my friends, awareness is okay, but don't spread fear or panic. There is nothing like that. Nothing is going to happen to Hindu society. As well, somebody is spreading fear as if Islam is going to swallow the whole Hindu society tomorrow morning itself. No, nothing like that. Don't spread the panic messages. Never disclose the name of your sisters and daughters. Never do that. I have seen so many names floating in WhatsApp groups, etc. It's a bad thing to do. You are playing with the dignity of a family. Please don't do that. It is all bad thing to do. So fighting Islam is one thing, but while fighting Islam, don't acquire the character of Islam. You be a Hindu and fight Islam. Don't try to become another Muslim and then try to fight Islam. It's very bad. Always my worry is this type of Islamization is slowly spreading in Hindus also. They also feel like taking guns, that's all wrong. No. Hindus have got their own benign ways, civilized ways of fighting Islam. That is how we were doing it for centuries together. Now, why do you panic now? Nothing is going to happen. Be happy, cool, composed, and fight Islam, not by panic. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohandaji, for those wonderful parting words. With this, the broadcast comes to an end. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Bye.